James Harden said he changed the game of basketball and that the only thing he's missing is a championship. Well, that's pretty important, and a lot of that goes on Harden. Don't get me wrong, Harden is still a really good player. The Sixers are rolling, but clearly Harden isn't the same as the perennial MVP candidate he once was. He has an important decision coming up for his legacy, but Embiid said best.
We got him, everybody expected the Houston James Harden, but that's not who he is anymore.
When we used to speak of James Harden, it was always as one of the best players in the NBA. I mean, he's a top 75 player in NBA history. Comparing Harden to his peak, the last 2 seasons have been his worst offensively since 2014. His true shooting is down to 60.3%, the 6th lowest of his career. He's running 6.6 pick and rolls per game, but with his worst efficiency ever, only scoring 0.76 points per possession. That's in the 28th percentile. Yeah, even with Embiid, 72% of the league is more efficient at pick and rolls. But forget the stats for a second. We can visually see that on the court, Harden has regressed. No matter if you hate how he played, loved how he played, you couldn't deny that at the minimum in the regular season, Harden could carry an offense like few could in NBA history. Just like if y'all liking the content, feel free to subscribe, cause over 75% of y'all aren't. Trying to get to 1 mil in 2023, making a video on the crazy scoring in the NBA within a week. We're gonna figure it out. When Harden was traded to the Sixers, he was still meant to be part of a 2-head monster with Joel Embiid, more like a 1A, 1B situation. His usage rate is down to 25.8, his lowest since his OKC days. And we can say age. Harden is 33 years old, but his contemporaries, Curry and KD, are 34. And one just led a team to a championship while the other is leading his team averaging nearly 30 points a game on his best field goal percentage of his career. 33 is no longer the age of decline. And in a league that right now has 6 guys averaging over 30 points a game, the most in NBA history, Harden has sort of been lost.
What is that?
After the playoffs last year where he couldn't get by anyone, he was no longer considered one of the best players in the world. That no skill at all comment really coming back to haunt him.
No skill at all, no skill at all.
And now he's already planting seedlings of doubt by saying he's not interested in a long-term deal with the Sixers and open to returning to the Rockets? Why? Because time and time again, we've seen him ruin his own career. And that's only part of the downward spiral we're seeing from him now. What is up, dudes, dudettes, ballers, players? It's your boy MJ. No one, neither the Rockets nor Harden, have denied these reports. But I started making this video even before these reports came out, mainly because I began to wonder, man, I really haven't heard James Harden in the best player conversation for a while. For context, in Harden's first year in Houston, he was a top 10 MVP candidate at the age of 23 in 2013. He was then top 10 MVP for 8 years in a row. He's been up there for a while. 3 scoring titles, finding ways to bend rules. Do I like that he relied on free throws? No. But is that a skill to draw fouls? Yes. Hate the game, not the player. Yet, even during the height of his absolute powers, there were always glaring issues. We all know that throughout Harden's career, he's had his roster of superstars that he's played with. Dwight Howard was the first when Howard joined the Rockets back in 2013 to Harden's new team. But that relationship deteriorated quickly when Harden refused to give Dwight the ball in the post. But that's literally Dwight Howard. The management sided with Harden, and him and Dwight wouldn't talk and would go so far as taking different exit routes to leave the Rockets arena to avoid each other completely. Once Dwight was out, the point guard CP3 was in. This was Harden's closest chance to winning a chip since OKC. That Rockets team could have gone places, but like Dwight, Harden and CP3 had issues. Chris complained that Harden wouldn't move without the ball, that he would sometimes barely step over half court, and wanted an offense that wasn't so ISO heavy. But once again, the Rockets side with Harden, and he didn't really change anything. CP3 and Harden wouldn't talk for as long as 2 months during the season.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Harden and Russ didn't have toxic beef, they just realized they couldn't work together on the court. CP3 on the Thunder almost beat the Rockets in 7 games though, and they went their separate ways. Harden said he feels like he's one of the best teammates the NBA has ever seen. Bro, what?
What are you talking about, man?
Accountability doesn't exist, huh? Even on the Nets, Harden was teamed up with his friend Durant and another star in Kyrie. Endgame. Harden was still dominating and in MVP conversations early on in the season. The Nets could have arguably gone all the way to the finals if Harden and Kyrie don't get hurt in the playoffs. But the next season was very different. Kyrie wouldn't get vaccinated and miss games. Harden would joke saying, "I'ma give him the shot," cause Harden was pissed.
In some kind of fashion, we'll see Kai play.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a shot if I got to.
Durant was mad at Harden because he came to training camp out of shape. Combine that with Harden's early season struggles and, well, what the hell was that? Harden didn't look the same. And what did Harden do? What he has been doing this whole time. The silent treatment where he isolated himself from his teammates. When he doesn't get his way, we begin to see some of the more wild stunts. Hey, yo! After losing in the bubble, the Rockets got new management and Harden was mad. The Rockets had no second star and he said,
I love this city. I've done everything that I can. I mean, this situation is crazy. You know, it's something that I don't think can be fixed, so.
He quit his way out of Houston. Harden said that he wanted out before his season even started, after Daryl Morey had stepped down, and he wanted to go to the Nets. And how would he get there? He partied like crazy, publicly.
James, what was the point that you were trying to get across when you went to Atlanta and Vegas when training camp was starting?
I was just training.
And came into training camp looking like this. Harden, more like Pillsbury Doughboy. Yeah, he pretty much forced a trade. Yeah! Harden Fatso came back with the Nets, and he was mentally checked out. At every step of the way, Harden not only got the star teammate he wanted, but had management support a playstyle that gave Harden all the control. They gave him all the role players that suited his style, like Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, Trevor Ariza, Clint Capella, but even that wasn't enough. Y'all can start to see the pattern. Every time Harden's team didn't do well, he'd point fingers at everyone but himself. And if he can't fix it anymore, he'd just drop his hands and leave. Which is the modern way of doing things in the NBA, and you can argue is alright if Harden was playing amazing and management wasn't building anything around him. But the main issue with Harden was never the regular season, it was always the playoffs. If you're a top 3 player in the league with a whole offense designed around you, in a playoff series, you're allowed 1 bad game. You can't have 3 good games, 2 extremely bad games, and 1 okay game because your team will lose since the whole offense is you. Every time in the postseason, Harden has come up short and all his numbers across the board drop significantly. In Harden's MVP year in the regular season, he shot 55.2% effective field goal in ISOs, but in the playoffs, that goes down to 46.6%, going from the 71st percentile in the league in ISOs all the way down to the 43rd. Yeah, there's a major drop-off. He made a new record of 13 turnovers in a playoff game. He couldn't close the deal against the Durantless Warriors team in the final 2 games. At home. Do I need to mention the choke job he had against the Spurs who didn't even have Kawhi?
Get out of here, boy.
So, for most of the NBA community, the regular season Harden was a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Now for these past 2 seasons, we have to address Harden's hamstring injuries. Or actually, Harden can do it.
Healthy James Harden. Scary hours.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, Harden stated that for the 2021-22 season, he was 100% healthy. Going into the playoffs, Harden again was supposed to be healthy, but despite that, was a shell of himself when he was asked to carry the Sixers offense without Embiid. Not being able to get by anyone, attempting only 2 shots in the second half of a closeout game that they lost, he averaged 18 points a game in that series against Miami. It got to the point that people were doubting whether Harden was truly worth the max this offseason. No. Now, Harden and Embiid for the most part seem to be good with each other. It even appears that Harden has adjusted, giving the ball to Embiid in the post, which he didn't do with Howard, going back to shooting mid-ranges, but it's hard to tell if he's adjusting according to his own will or if he's just realized he isn't as effective. You would think that being with Embiid would make Harden more efficient, but it hasn't. He struggled to finish at the rim, shooting 48% in the paint, his 3rd lowest of his career. His burst of speed isn't there, and his games have been sporadic, at times playing like Harden of the old, and other times not being able to find the basket. What the As a result, he's focused more on playmaking and actually thrived. One of the best playmakers in the league. But again, we're talking about a guy that at one point was being considered one of the best scorers in NBA history after averaging 36 points in a season. Now, I give props to Harden for taking a pay cut this season to allow the Sixers more room to sign other players, even if Lil Baby trying to make up the rest.
La baby, la baby, la baby, la baby.
He even said that this is how bad I want to win. I want to compete for a championship. But to then turn around and seriously be considering the Rockets next year if he turns on a new deal with the Sixers makes no sense. The Rockets are 9-23, full rebuild mode unless Harden trying to pull a LeBron 2014 to the Cavs, but even then, Harden isn't the same guy to carry an offense. After Harden and the Sixers lost to the Heat last playoffs, Embiid called Harden out, saying Philly James Harden is not the same as Rockets James Harden. That's just not who he is anymore. Harden's fallen from one of the best players in the league to now a good player, and you know what? That's not bad, but he has to make a decision and hold himself accountable. Harden's next decision might be the most important one he makes for his legacy. Will he be a player that everything else but a championship was more important to him, only played one way, and bit by bit hurt his own legacy? Or adapt, go through the rough patch, find his footing in the playoffs, and help get to the ultimate goal? And for the holidays, I'm giving away a new Air Jordan 1 Chicago's in whatever size, wherever you are. And if this video gets 200,000 views and 15,000 likes, I'ma also give away NBA tickets. These shoes are amazing. All you gotta do is be subscribed, follow my Twitter, and tell me one of your favorite moments from the channel this year. And oh yeah, actually comment something from the video. Thank you for all the support this year. The all-day notification watch shout goes to BJ9. Thanks for the all-day support. And if you want to know how Luka is getting better, but the Mavericks are getting worse, there's a video right here. And if you're still here, you'll really want to comment next, so I know. It's your boy MJ. We out. We vibe.